Welcome back. Now we're going to take a look at some actual examples of linking words, informal linking words, that you guys should be using in your speech. So in your IELTS speaking exam, this is the kind of language that you need to use. Okay, so linking words, what are they? What do we use them for and why do we use them? Now, the use of linking words is wide and varied. I think I've covered most of the major reasons why you would need to use linking words. Okay, I may have missed some out, but I think this covers the vast majority of reasons why you need to use linking words. So let's just very briefly go through the different categories. So listing, when you are listing things that you like or have done, when you want to add extra information to something, to give an example, to talk about the result or consequence of an action, to highlight something, to contrast it, talk about cause and effect, to express your opinion, to conclude, to sequence with time phrases, and to restate something. Like I said, I may have missed one or two of the other reasons why we may use linking words, but as far as your IELTS speaking exam is concerned, this more or less covers everything that you need to know. And have a look at the vocabulary. I think the vocabulary that you can see, yeah, it's not complicated. There are no difficult words here. It's simple, basic, natural English language. Okay, that's the important thing here. Natural, simple and natural. That's what you're being really assessed on when it comes to your IELTS speaking. Are you using appropriate natural words? So when I am listing something, firstly, secondly, thirdly, these are very, very natural ways to express yourself. But you might also want to use next, then, finally. So when you're perhaps describing, I don't know, your daily routine. Firstly, I have my breakfast. Then I go to the gym. And next I don't know, have a shower, and then finally I go to work. Listing events in their order. Okay, very, very natural way to do it. You don't need really difficult, long vocabulary to list ideas when you are speaking. Adding additional information. Okay, also, and, as well as, another. I like to eat chocolate and ice cream. I also like strawberries. Okay, so I've just added extra information in a very, very natural way. To give an example, such as, like, for instance, you can obviously use for example as well. I probably use for example more regularly than anything else, but such as, like, and for instance are some good alternatives. Such as and like, well, like you definitely is very, very, very informal. Such as, for instance, for example, you'll probably find that they are formal and informal. They're semi-formals. To talk about the result or the consequence of an action, just need one word: so. I was late for work, so my boss was angry. My car broke down, so I had to phone the mechanic. So. You don't need any other words, just so. If you want to highlight something that you believe is an important part of your sentence or your paragraph, obviously, clearly, obviously, my car breaking down was an important event. Clearly, ringing the mechanic was the thing to do. Obviously and clearly. Contrasting. You all know this word, but, so you should use it. I like reading, but I prefer going to the movies. Although, you can also use or as well. But should be one of your favourite words. To To talk about the cause and effect, again, because. This happens because. I did that because this. Because you told me to do this, I did that. Because. But you can also use I suppose. Yeah? So why did something happen? I suppose it happened because this happened. Giving your opinion. I think, I guess, I agree. I think. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying I think when you are expressing your opinions. But I guess, I agree. I guess is one that I like to use. I guess you're correct. Concluding. Now, when you are concluding in your speech, you are not going to say in conclusion. You are not going to say to conclude, unless it's a formal presentation, as I stated. To conclude, you might say, well, let's just say it was a great holiday and we can't wait to go back next year. Let's just say. Yeah, you don't need anything else. Sequencing. Okay, now the sequencing of events. This is different to listing and adding because this is all to do with the time. Okay, so sequencing is something that you do need to practice more in conjunction with your tenses, your use of tenses. The English tenses are all about time, describing time. So sequencing is a skill that you will need so that you can describe a sequence of events. First this happened, then afterwards that happened, but before that happened, this happened. So you're sequencing actions and events. Now is obviously now. Now I am teaching you how to use the word now. At the moment I am recording a video tutorial for you guys. Before I started I had to prepare the board and I had to turn the lights on. Yesterday I had to think about what I was going to say and plan my video tutorial. Yeah? So there's a sequence of events. These are just some of the words that you will use for sequencing your events. There are lots more of them, okay? I want you to learn how to sequence events in conjunction with your tenses, okay? So this does require a little bit of grammar work for you as well. And finally, restating something. So perhaps you have expressed your idea or your opinion, but you want to say it again. You want to say it using slightly different words. So what I mean to say is, okay? So apart from, okay, the time phrases and sequencing, this is pretty much all of the vocabulary that you need for your IELTS speaking exam. You just need to know how to use these words correctly within the different sort of categories. Okay. Think about these categories as a function of language. A function of language. Yeah? These are functions. So when you want to give an example, that is a function that you are performing. So, for example, such as, okay, if you want to talk about the cause and effect of something, that is a function of language. Yeah. So I want you to think about these categories as functions of language. Think about when you need to use these functions in your speech. Yeah. Concluding, time phrases, restating things. These are functions. When would you use these functions and why? I'm not going to give you all of the answers to this, not in this tutorial, because I want you guys to start doing some work. These are functions. I want you, for your homework, I want you to think about when do I use this function in my language? And also ask yourself why. And then you will have a better understanding of how to use all of this vocabulary in a much more effective and natural way in English. And that will definitely help you to perform better in your IELTS speaking exam.